Howdy, 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 my darling Virgo. This is going to be your weekly tarot reading for January 2023. So if something resonates with you, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be doing your past, present, and future, darling Virgo, so we can get a better understanding of what's going on in your life, what's been going on in your life, give you a sense of direction. All right. And yeah, so if that sounds good to you, darling, then keep on watching here. I'm just pulling out the last final cards for you, Virgo. My apologies. And the first thing that I'm noticing here, Virgo, is that you have been in this period of where it's like something really disappointed you. I feel like someone didn't live up to your standard. Someone didn't live up to their potential, Virgo, in your past, and it really turned you off. It really turned you off. It really put you into this place of where I feel like you couldn't see the situation the same way anymore. All right. If this is not in relation to, if this is about a person, it's like someone really just ended up being very much so. I could say a lot of different words about this, Virgo, but I'll allow you to fill in the blank. They just didn't live up to what you expected them to be. They didn't live up to your standard here. And if this is about a situation, maybe like a job or something like that, Virgo, it's like someone messed up, something messed up, Virgo, and it's been really hard for you to move on from it. It's been really hard for you to look the other way or to really look beyond it. You know, I feel like this really, whatever the situation is, it caused you to shut down, which is really unfortunate, Virgo. Because I see in your present here, we have the Knight of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, and then the Seven of Cups. Because of that previous situation that really disappointed you, it's as if this sense of where it's like now you have this perspective, Virgo, where you're just like, oh, everything is going to disappoint me. If that one situation disappointed me, if that one emperor disappointed me, darling, then there's no point in being hopeful or being optimistic about anything else. You know, this gives me very much so like a type of narratives, like this is usually like the type of thought processes. I'm not saying this is you, Virgo, in specific, but like this reminds me of someone where it's like they got their heart broken from somebody, all right, and then from that point on, they're just like, oh, I'll never love again. I'll never, you know, entertain a new best friend or anything like that because they're, you know, all people are just the same. I can't trust them anymore. Da 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 da. All right, and I feel like this has been a consistent pattern for you. All right. And so it's not this sense of where it's just like this one person, right? This one emperor, has hurt everything for you. I feel like you've been at this point where it's just like, you know what? I've tried time and time and time and time again, and you keep on getting the similar results. Even when you hear from certain people being like, oh, I've changed and da 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 da, clearly people haven't changed, and clearly like it's something in the water that's causing for you to consistently be at this place of dealing with people where it's like they might be good people, you know, the situation might be good, right? It might pay good or anything like that, Virgo, but you know, they just haven't matured, or it's like they are mature on certain things, but then they're just very clueless afterwards, and they end up becoming more of a burden than they are like providing anything of substance for you in your life, right? And so I feel like this has happened quite a bit for you, and more than just one type of facet. You know, it could be just like your dating life, but it's on top of that, then also like some people in your family end up disappointing you, maybe in different ways, but it's also like I feel like it comes back down to the same root thing, to the point to where you're just like, you know what, like I don't even think you're in this place, Virgo, where you're just like, am I the problem, am I the drama? Like, I don't feel like you are thinking that whatsoever. If you are, you need to stop it, Virgo. I feel like you're just at a point where you're just like, you know what, these people are not worth it. You know, this is just not worth taking any more risks, because it just always ends up being to the point to where it's so exhausting for you to even entertain anymore that you'd rather just be by yourself. And, you know, I'm not going to fault you for that, Virgo, but what I can be telling you is that I'm really excited for your future here. All right. And we'll pull more cards later on to get better clarifiers here. But we have the Eight of Pentacles as well as the Swords, and then the Hermit card coming in here. So, Virgo, I know this is going to sound initially annoying to hear, all right, but I do feel as if for you, this you going into your shell is probably the best course of action for you, because I feel like you consistently are in situate, like the reason why you keep on finding yourself in similar situations is because it's like you've taken what you could from an environment. All right, there's nothing more for you. There's nothing more substance, nothing more that you could gain from these situations, from these people, all right, from your hometown, or, you know, from this work environment or something like that. Like, you've gotten what you could from the situation, Virgo. And so it's time for you to be in, like, to go into your shell a little bit and reflect on your next game move, to reflect on like where it is that you want to change your environment, change your social circles, change perhaps even a job or something like that. Like, whatever the case is, like, change is in your future, Virgo. And that's, you know, that's a fact. And I feel like for you, you know, you've reached like the last straw. That's what I keep on hearing here, Virgo. It's like you reached the last straw with dealing with a certain type of person, with dealing with like situations. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I always say, Virgo, it's like it's a full-time job living our own life. And so when you have to like help someone live their life as well, it's just like a recipe for disaster here. And I feel like you are so tired, Virgo, of always feeling like the adult in the situation. I feel like we all should feel like the adult, obviously, in our lives. But what I mean by this, Virgo, and I feel like you understand it, it's like you're constantly having to take care of other people, or in some type of way, physically or even emotionally, mentally. It's like you're never around people that actually like challenge you mentally or excite you. And I feel like it's time for you to move on from that type of crowd here. And how you move on from that type of crowd is by looking at your other options, is by exploring different concepts, or like really just thinking about what more you can be doing. All right. And so it's really important for you, Virgo, at this time to not be in this place of convincing yourself. I mean, like, here's the thing, Virgo, like, you might have already noticed that I'm not like really chastising y'all about the concept of being like, oh, everybody's the same, da 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 da. Because I do feel like on some level, the type of people you have been around, the environment that you're in, and all that, they are the same. All right. And so I feel like for you, that's like a sign for you to look in other pastures. All right. It's time for you to acknowledge being like, all right, I've really outgrown this situation. I've outgrown this pond. Let me see where else I can be exploring. And so that's really, I guess, where like my goal for this reading for you is for you to be considering other options, and rather than thinking that it's something wrong with you and internalizing it's just stuff that you've been having to deal with people and just your life in general, Virgo. I feel like this is a time for you to be like, okay, you know, see it in that way, see in a way where it's just like, all right, what's next in my story? This is time for me. It's time for you to evolve here. All right. I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers here. 10 of Wands, 6 of Wands here, and then the Queen of Wands, definitely in a passion way. I feel like you're really going to be stepping into this new chapter, like this new chapter for you, Virgo, leads to be something very passion oriented for you. You know, I always say the 6 of Wands is my favorite fortune card. And so I feel like once you get out of your comfort zone as that Queen of Wands, Virgo, right? It's like you're releasing that baggage. And it's like you're now able to step into this new chapter for yourself that turns out to be really successful. So this really kind of reminds me of people that are like, you know, realizing that their town that they're living in, or their city or their state, is just like, all right, this is not the place for me. I'm moving on and going into this new journey for yourself. And in that journey, that opens up so much opportunity, right? You know, whenever I left Texas and I started did my own thing for social media and all that, and I traveled to California and then to Washington and stuff, Virgo, you know, the only thing that changed was my environment, and I was able to really be my most authentic self. And it's through the change of energy there that you start attracting the right people. So I do definitely feel like change is necessary for you, Virgo. All right, I feel like it's time for you to go into this new chapter for yourself. you know, just, it's easier for me to say because I'm not the one dealing with it, Virgo, but see this, whatever disappointment that you had, see that as a time, as a situation, Virgo, for you, where it's just like, all right, it's time to move on. All right. I keep on dealing with the same patterns. Let me move on. All right. So your oracle reading for today is the Fortune's Wheel, luck and the right timing. Now, Virgo, I always say that the Wheel of Fortune can be turning in your favor, turning against you. The way that you get this Wheel of Fortune to change directions, because currently what you have been dealing with is stuff that you don't want to be dealing with anymore. How do you change that? Is by you do drastic changes to force this Wheel of Fortune to be turning in the other direction, where it's actually turning in your favor. And so I feel like really the best course of action is dramatic action. All right. This is really a time for you, Virgo, to not psych yourself out for this new journey that you are inevitably about to be on here. All right. So that's the tarot reading that I have for you today. I hope something in here resonated with you. I have a new podcast if you want to check it out, Virgo. I have a link down below, and I'll connect you sometime in the near future. Bye, Virgo.